In today's episode, we are going to be discussing why investing a little bit more upfront will ultimately save you money in the long run. My name is Pete. Welcome to the show. Let's get into this. Now, while I chat you guys through this philosophy, I'm going to fit this Arcolock rail from Area 419 to my chassis on the front here. This is our Hauer carbon fiber Creedmoor project that we've been working on. I'm going to finish this product for us soon. I've got so many other projects in the works, but my new sort of vision for us doing these projects together is that I'm going to film and edit the whole series and then release them for you guys as sort of a batch or on a weekly basis, so that we're not having like 3-4 months between episodes, because that's not nice for me and that's not nice for you guys. I feel it's unfair towards you guys. So let me know in the comments if you're keen on that, and I'll do that with the projects going forward after we finish out this product. So now with the little Arca rail installed, relax YouTube person, this is just a little camera rail on the bottom of my rifle that doesn't modify the function of it at all. So it's tricky to make this video without sounding, I guess, like a shill and trying to get you guys to buy expensive products. That's not the goal of this video at all. The goal is to share sort of my philosophy with you guys, whether you go buy a $5,000 optic, if there's even such a thing, or a $300 optic. I just want to give you some sort of perspective, what has worked for me and what I've noticed over the past couple of years. On a recent hunt, as an example, a mate of mine had a Hauer 6.5 Creedmoor in sort of a knockoff version of an MDT ESS chassis with the enclosed forend. And after like 40 rounds in the zero range, I said to him, like, dude, what's going on? And turns out he couldn't figure it out. When I looked, I saw that his forend had actually bent and it was touching his barrel, which is obviously not good for precision. So his rifle was all over the show. We kind of bent it backwards, and that's a result of bad engineering, bad material selection, probably some kind of Chinesium metal that was used to make the forend. Because obviously you need to cut corners to bring the cost down on a lot of these things. And as a result of that, he kind of had not a great day shooting because he was kind of chasing his tail. And that's often something that happens when you buy inferior gear the first time, whether that is a knockoff Chinese Atlas bipod. Now all of a sudden you have a little bit of wiggle in your system and you're chasing your tail because your rifle doesn't want to zero, but you don't know that there's so much slop in the front here of your rifle that you're never going to really get it to zero properly. And at the end of the day, now you've saved a couple of bucks on your bipod, but you've spent so much money shooting ammo downrange, okay, because you don't actually know that there's error built into your system. And that is so freaking important. And the same sort of school of thought can be applied to bullets. You can get cheap bullets that are fun to shoot, and you can get sort of more expensive match bullets. I lean towards the more expensive side of the bullets purely because when I'm shooting, I want to know that when I'm missing at 1,000 yards, that it's my fault. I made a bad wind call or whatever the case may be, because I'm loading good ammunition and I'm not second guessing my bullet. Because if there's bullet to bullet inconsistency with regards to the ballistic coefficient, for example, all of a sudden, if you're shooting 1,000 yards, your next round might be low for whatever reason. And then you correct off that, and then your next round is high again because there's just bullet to bullet inconsistency. So that's also an example of how sort of saving money up front ends up becoming expensive long term, and you don't even know that it's happening. The other part of this equation is obviously, let's use my friend again as an example. Sorry, friend, you know who you are if you're watching this video. If he now needs to sell that knockoff chassis of his, it's literally worth nothing. And I've seen this so many times in these sort of second-hand Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups where guys are selling just as good gear. And I know what those things go for new, and they're selling them for like a third of the price, okay, of what they picked them up for not that long ago, because a lot of these things haven't been out that long. On the flip side, for example, I've had optics, like my very first premium optic was a Vortex AMG. I recently sold that optic just because Vortex don't make them anymore. They've got other things that they make now, and they always kind of want me to shoot the current stuff, okay? Full disclosure, if you don't know, I'm sponsored by Vortex. That's besides the point for now. I sold my AMG for more than I bought it for, and I bought it in 2018, I believe, 2017, 2018. So 5 years down the line, it appreciated in value. So that is something that you'll get if you're buying the right brands and the right sort of gear with, you know, a good brand name. So this also makes it tricky, right? Because we want new brands to come into the market, because the more competition that's in the market, the better all the optics will be. So that's great for the ecosystem as a whole, but it kind of leaves us in this conundrum, like, do we support the little brands? Because now I have the risk that if I need to sell it one day, it's not kind of going to retain its value. It's a tricky one, and it's a tricky one to negotiate, and it is something that I'm aware of. So yeah, make with that what you will. The other aspect is that I find people learn better when they spend a little bit more upfront. Here's why. Let's take our bullet missing because of bullet inconsistencies. If you're chasing your tail because of a loose bipod or bullet inconsistencies or those kind of things, you're not learning, because you're kind of correcting for things that aren't your fault. If you have the right gear, all of your stuff is dialed in, then you can really dive into learning how to use your equipment without second guessing yourself. The other thing that I also have experienced personally in my own life, if I know I'm in for a little bit of money and I'm possibly spending a little bit more than I wanted to, I do so much research. I do way more research. I watch YouTube videos, I read blogs, I read people's opinions and comments in Facebook groups. And as a result of that, by the time that I eventually take out my card and I make my purchasing decision, I'm making such an informed decision because I've deep dive on that topic, and I'm also more invested in that at that point, which inevitably leads to a better outcome. So that's definitely the case in my life, and my wife knows if I go on like YouTube rabbit holes of motorbikes or cars or whatever the case may be, then you something's coming. So maybe you guys are the same. I've also had first-hand experience buying sort of a more premium brand off the get-go, that your inevitable customer journey is just so much better, whether that is customer support. You know, if you're buying a cheap Atlas knockoff from China, good luck if something goes wrong with that thing. I mean, you're throwing it away at best and buying another one, or hopefully after watching this video, buying the right one. I once had a customer, he bought an XRS, one of these chassis from me, and on his way home, he was in a fender bender and somebody smashed into the back of his car and actually cracked his XRS in half. So he was in a pretty big accident. He sent me an email saying, Pete, this happened, you know, it is what it is. I reached out to MDT and they freaking replaced his XRS for him like that. Vortex warranties are also obviously, legendary stories of bears eating people's binos and them replacing stuff. I've recently just had, and that's why I said my sofa in the beginning of this video, I've had my sofa now for 3 years, and the one seat's like sort of almost like sat out, if you will. I sent the people a thing. It was a custom-made sofa. It's out of its warranty period already. They said, on Monday we'll be there. We're gonna pick up your entire sofa and completely free of charge, you know, redo the entire thing. And that company is called SofaWorks. If you're in South Africa, by the way, unbelievable customer service. And they have no idea who I am, or I'm giving them a shout out here or whatever. Customer service is very, very, very valuable for me, especially if we're spending decent amount of money investing long-term into this kind of stuff. Anyway, guys, so that's kind of my philosophy with this kind of stuff. It has served me very, very well in my life. I've made 1 or 2 mistakes, which my wife reminds me of every time I want to save a buck and buy the cheapy thing. And every time I've done that recently, it has bit me in the ass. And I'm kind of done doing that. So I'd rather not have something make do with what I've got until I have the resources to get the right thing the first time. Obviously within limits. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't want you rushing out there and buying Razor Gen 3s at $3,000 or whatever they retail for. But buying the right brands, I think, is the important part of what I want to get across. And again, it makes no difference to me whether you buy one of the brands that support our channel. If you do, obviously great. I use them because I trust them, and I was buying Vortexes and I was buying MDTs and I was buying the 419 stuff and all the stuff you guys see behind me long before any of them were ever involved with this YouTube channel, because I believe in the companies. And more importantly now for me, what's very, very cool, and you guys kind of have to take my word for this, is I know the people behind these companies, and they're great people and they care about their customers, and that for me is ultimately invaluable long term. So to sum things up, ultimately you can save a buck here, but it would probably cost you more in the long run. So think about that the next time you make your purchasing decision. Guys, let me know in the comments down below if this resonates with you, if you like this style of video. I enjoyed making it for you guys. Again, beautiful XRS. We are picking up this project very soon. I'm gonna see if I can get out to the range tomorrow and tune some loads for this project. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Be kind to one another. God bless every single one of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.